He was born in 1971 in Victoria, Australia. As a little boy, he migrated to Melbourne, where he dabbled in several occupations and eventually dropped out of college. Among those jobs, he worked as an electrician, nightclub security guard, carpet salesperson, and shrimp fisherman. He had a reputation for being a diligent worker, though he had previously been arrested for fighting in Perth, a city that, at the time, had a high rate of drug-related crime. Ricky was 35 years old when he accepted a position in January 2006, working in Port Hedland, Western Australia, for a government agency. He took the job and continued on a long journey he had done before. He was behind the wheel of a 2001 Mitsubishi Challenger, plowing along the desert-empty Bunting Highway. While traveling, Ricky noticed a car pulled over with 3 men sitting on the side of the road. "Hey, are you guys okay?" "Apologies, buddy," one of the men replied. "Unfortunately, our vehicle's petrol tank collapsed. Everyone keeps going right through even though we've been pleading for assistance for quite some time." There's nothing wrong with me, dude. Would you like a ride to the gas station? There's a way for you to get back." "Wow, absolutely. Much obliged, sir." As soon as Ricky got inside the car, the other passengers began violently assaulting him. He fainted after feeling a sharp pain in his arm. When he awoke, someone else was at the wheel, and he was in the passenger seat. He tried to regain control of the steering wheel, but someone struck him from behind, knocking him out once again. His second awakening found him bound and confined in a makeshift camp. "Tell me your name." "So, what's your desire?" "I don't mind if you use my automobile. Just give me a glass of water, please. You're free to abandon me here." It looked like the men were preparing to leave as they sorted through backpacks. Upon seeing him awake, they brought Ricky a bottle of water. All Ricky could think about was that it had to be a massive heist. The memories of people in the region who would pay to have passports stolen, mostly for identity theft and financial scams, suddenly flooded back to him. He deeply regretted not remembering these facts earlier, before offering his help. Once again, he passed out. When he came to, he found himself in a tiny grave covered by a black tarp. His shoes and socks were gone, leaving him with only his slacks and shirt. His wallet was missing, but he found $14 and his car keys still in his pockets. The thought that his car might still be nearby gave him a tremendous sense of comfort. He believed he might finally escape this terrifying nightmare. Emerging from the hole, he quickly surveyed his surroundings, but all he could see were barren trees and miles of sand. There were no animals, rivers, or roads. He had also abandoned his vehicle. Ricky went barefoot for 10 straight days. Because of the extreme heat, it reached nearly 40 degrees Celsius. He frequently passed out from exhaustion. Despite being in a desert, the nights were bitterly cold, and he slept very little. Ricky was fortunate in that he could occasionally drink water, as it did rain from time to time. But when he realized the rain wasn't consistent, he began to drink his urine as a means of survival. He used flowers as fuel and consumed snakes, frogs, ants, and lizards, among other creatures he managed to find. He traveled for 10 days before stumbling upon a tiny dam and a nearby spot to stay. He chose to remain there for a while, shielding himself from the sun, recharging his energy, and allowing his feet to heal so he could continue traveling. In the days that followed, his focus was solely on survival. He wandered only to gather food and water. Due to the poor state of his diet, he ended up staying there for another 2 months. He remained in his shelter until the 71st day when, while sleeping, he heard a car pass by. He rushed out to the road, frantically waving his arms and pleading for help. Heytesbury, one of Australia's largest export cattle producers, owns Birrindudu Station, where 2 workers happened to rescue Ricky. Luckily, those workers were en route to another station, and Ricky was only 30 kilometers away. When found, Ricky weighed just 45 kilograms, a dramatic drop from his original 100 kilograms just 71 days earlier. He was hospitalized for 3 weeks and placed on a strict recovery diet due to his condition. But during that time, a new setback arose. The police weren't convinced by Ricky's story. Not all the details added up. If the attackers had intended to kill him, why hadn't they properly buried him? Why didn't they take his keys if they stole his car? Authorities claimed Ricky may have fabricated the story to cover up a crime that, if investigated, could have landed him in serious trouble. While Ricky was placed under mental health care, one of the doctors couldn't confirm or deny the truthfulness of his account. Considering the psychological trauma and harsh weather conditions he endured for those 71 days, it was possible that only time could heal his battered conscience. In the end, the case was closed and classified as a kidnapping and robbery. a survival against extreme odds, because there was no definitive proof to dispute Ricky's version of events. In 2010, 4 years after the incident, Ricky published Left for Dead: How I Survived 71 Days Lost in Desert Hell. He eventually went on a book signing tour and gave motivational speeches around the world. That same year, Ricky met a woman named Kate, and they are now married. He currently works for a construction firm in Dubai. Would you be able to endure a week of desert survival?